Heyo, Patrick, so you've got a video for me there, bud. What are we talking about today?
So this is from Gripped Media. It's about the Women's Coalition on Immigration. It's a non-partisan group in Ireland just to examine the asylum and immigration framework through the lens of our safety and protection and accountability for women.
And who's the nice lady at the podium there? She's a counselor, right?
She's a counselor, yeah. She's an independent Ireland county councillor. Okay. You'll see now during the video, she's absolutely fantastic. But all the women here are very well spoken, but they make a lot of very valid points, especially about the recent headlines we're seeing all over my country at the moment when it comes to the safety of women.
All right. Well, we're going to let her cook, and then we will see what is happening.
Well, this is the second meeting that the Women's Coalition have, and I'm delighted to be involved as a female politician. I want to represent the voice of women in this country. Many women do not feel safe in this country at this point in time. 2026, I have constituents telling me all of the time that they just do not feel safe anymore.
Right. So where's O'Feely?
That again?
Oh, did I say it incorrectly? where's she from?
Offaly. Yes.
Okay.
For our Irish audiences, Americans are not really good at our names.
It happens. Offaly?
Yes. Okay. Nice lady, actually. Really well spoken. Actually, she makes a lot of very valid points here.
And she's a TD Independent Ireland?
No, she's just independent herself, non-partisan. But
is she a TD? Or is she a
independent TD? Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right, here we go.
We've had, unvetted mass immigration. We've people coming into this country who shouldn't be in this country 2 minutes.
Right, and we've talked about before with the border with North Ireland and just landing in Belfast and coming down. And in fact, the UK pushing them down south because they say, hey, Ireland has better benefits. Get out of here. And
yeah,
here they come.
As I said, a lot of this can be land in the UK, but it's not just the UK, it's other European partner countries as well. Landing them over here.
For sure. They're coming out of France and Belgium and all kinds of places, yeah.
But what the sad thing is, none of these people are vetted. None of them. We don't know who they are or what they are. And we're seeing more and more headlines. Even sometimes there is no headline. You just see a video on YouTube and there seems to be nothing in the news about it.
Do you think this will maybe cause a reunification of Ireland because they just can't keep themselves safe because all of the awful that comes through Northern Ireland? I think a possibility for reunification because they just can't protect themselves with that border.
Realistically, I think we should sort our own house out first before we even go down table that scenario. But I think our government has a lot to answer for at the moment, especially with the safety of women all across Ireland. It's unbelievable.
Sure.
As I say, even the reporting behind it is very, very bad. As I say, most people don't even hear about these kind of events unless it was for either Twitter or Facebook videos going around. RT seems to be very slow to respond to any of these stories. The Sun is not too bad. Most of the media seems to kind of put a lead on it.
And RT is the state-run media there in Ireland?
Yes, state-sponsored media, yes.
Here we go.
We've no effective deportation system. We have no effective immigration system. We've no robust policy in place. And I feel that at this point in time, it's very, very concerning. I have called for reforms a number of times. I feel that the Garda National Immigration Bureau needs to be properly resourced instead of talking about grants for people to leave the country, which was talked about at one stage, which is absolutely crazy. And we
shouldn't have to pay you for you to leave. You should go if you shouldn't be here. So who does she work under? Who is, what you said she's in the Independent Ireland Party?
No, she's independent. She's her own boss.
Independent. Okay.
Yeah, she's independent. She's on her. She paddles her own canoe, as they would say.
Well, there you go.
But at least she's speaking a bit of wisdom. We shouldn't be paying people to leave our country. We should just put them on a plane and send them home.
Right. Well, the United States is doing something like that too. We're giving people a bit of a stipend to get the hell out.
Yes, but you're rewarding. I feel like you're rewarding bad behavior, or maybe I'm just too old school. But you're rewarding people for breaking into your. It'll be like paying a guy to leave your house after he breaks into it.
No, I
it doesn't
understand
make
what you're
sense.
saying, but we got to sometimes give them a little bit of cash to get them out, right? Like for travel expenses, like, hey, you got to go. And they're like, I don't have a way to do that. Okay.
Let them put them on a plane. Yeah, bring them to the airport, give them a ticket, put them on the plane. There you go. There's your resources.
Would be nice if it worked like that, but it doesn't seem to be
It
working
should,
as
yeah, it should
effectively
work.
as it should.
Yeah, as I said, it should work like that because I feel like you're paying a person to leave your house after they break in. That's what I feel like.
Right. Well, it's where you put the door, right? If you put the door on your house and they come in, obviously that's bad. But there's a lot of politicians who are like, well, if they're just in your city, it's okay. No, it's not okay. You got a bunch of military age males that are milling about your town in the middle of the day when
if you think about all the small towns and villages around Ireland where there's hundreds of people just suddenly just planted in the middle of them, that's not good for the local community.
Well, it strains resources too. The assets that should be for your citizens are being distributed to those who are not citizens. For those taxpayers and constituents who have paid into the system, they're like, these should be our resources we have access to, right? Our police and our hospitals and all that.
Like there was a ridiculous scenario there where there was a guy last year who attacked a young girl who was given a nice letter to leave. Instead of just being thrown out of the country, he was just sent to City West.
Oh, so he commits a felony battery and then we just say, hey, here's a nice letter, go away?
No, he was already given the letter to go away.
Oh.
And he was brought to City West. I remember we covered the story last year.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But this same guy shouldn't have been, I mean, he got that letter. There should have been an immediate follow-up by the Department of Justice to make sure he left the country straight away. Instead, he was sent to City West, where he just waited around for months, by the looks of it.
Right.
And no one just picked him up and put him on a plane.
Is that a manpower issue, or does it feel just like it's lazy? Like,
I think it's a combination of no one wants to look bad.
Oh, you're a racist if you do the thing, or
yes.
Oh,
yeah. And we don't want to be called. In Ireland. We don't want to be called the R word whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, that's not good. Yeah, that is the pejorative that will cause the most damage for sure. Yeah, because then you have to fight to say I'm not, and they're like, well, no, you are. So as opposed to discussing the issue, you have to talk about how you're not a racist. You can be for your culture. You can be, I'm Irish. I want Irish people to thrive. That doesn't mean you don't want other people to not thrive. It means you don't want your people attacked in the street. It seems pretty reasonable, right?
And that's not, when did it come so racist for a person to turn around and say, I'm proud of my own country and I want my country to stay the same?
We talked about it with the UK, right? The UK has the Order of St. George and the Yukon Jack up, and they get taken down. The only reason that happens is if your country is invaded, right? That's the only way that happens.
Yeah, and we see it up and down my own country at the moment. We see it in Dublin, Cork, all over the place.
Were they tearing down the tricolour?
Yeah, where they're taking down the tricolour.
Oh, that's not cool. Didn't you guys fight for like 1,000 years to put that up?
As I said, we spent over 500 years. Yeah, we spent 500 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, to get our own flag up in our own country, and now we're taking it down. And if we put it up, we're called race.
Yeah, so it feels like both the UK and Ireland are occupied. It just feels that way, right?
Yeah.
And we did that big special on Rupert Lowe and what his plans are.
But you see the same. But you see exactly the same thing in the United States. You see in certain parts of the United States, you see guys following the Star Spangled Banner, and because they're proud to fly their own flag, they're called racist or MAGA or whatever.
Right.
And you're kind of going, these are guys who are veterans who putting up the flag because they fought for that flag, not because
they fought for the ideals, the American ideals, right?
Yeah, or
speech,
same in Ireland or so on.
Eat a Whopper, whatever. All right, let's get back to the video. We've got a little far afield here.
Yeah.
Know from other countries like Sweden that does not work. It hasn't worked at all in the past. So I feel very strongly about the issue. I feel that as a female politician, it's down to me to show leadership on it. And I feel that women are being badly let down in this country.
That's a fact. So Sweden has a lot of no-go zones. There's places in London that are functionally no-go zones. And I'm pretty sure in Dublin and Cork, there are places where, as an Irish citizen, you just don't go because it is unsafe for you to go there as an Irish citizen.
Well, I think every country has those kind of areas. A lot of them. In Sweden, there's particular areas that are very heavily no-go zones because of immigration.
Yes. unchecked.
But, yeah, but every city, have to bear this in mind, has the same problem no matter where I go in the world. And I've traveled a nice bit in my lifetime.
Yeah, there's a ghetto somewhere. Yeah, for sure.
There's a ghetto everywhere, no matter how well. What our worry is
a high concentration of liquor stores. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
No, the problem is, are we going to turn into another Sweden, where our own Gardaí won't be able to go in without military backup into some of these areas, which we've never had before, which we have come close to in the past, but will we have more of it in the future because of this unchecked immigration? I think we will.
Well, Derek Domino and the gentleman, the Unbroken Man, have brought that up a lot. Right? By 2035, you're going to be a minority in your own country. That's not acceptable. That is the destruction of your culture, and it's being done by your political class, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of that was pushed, like you were saying, by the folks who are on the council and the DALR. They own a lot of property. And if they can secure a contract that says, hey, if you house X people, we'll give you X money per day, which is going to be far more than an Irish citizen renting out a flat.
Yeah, exactly. If you think about it, you have a 2-bedroom flat there, you can squeeze 8 people into it. I've seen, because the reason I know this because I have friends of mine who work in the system. And you have 8 people, and for each one of those people, they get paid 124 euros. I've written down 124 euros per person per day, adults. And it's half that again for each child. Yeah, so let's say eight people, we'll just round it up there. That's nearly well over 1,000 euros per day per flat.
Right, and you're going to rent it out for what, 1,400 or 1,500 euros for an Irish family to live there, right? So why wouldn't you want over $1,000 a day when you can do 30 times $1,000 a day, or you can get under 2,000 for a family? Like, it doesn't make financial sense to do it. But when you set it up so the government is the one that's paying it, it means the taxpayers are not only getting residences they can live in or be able to buy a house or any of those things, they're being forced to pay for those people to live in those places where they could be living.
The International Protection Order, people here are under international protection, that money is not paid by the Irish government, it's paid directly by the UN. Now, the reason why we're not regulated, as you were saying, as I keep saying to you, is a lot of our TDs are landlords. They're making an absolute fortune selling us down the river because they're getting paid by the UN.
Yeah, $30,000 a month, which for $360,000 a year for something that they should be making $24,000 to $25,000 a year on.
Yeah,
right. As what would be appropriate for housing in the area. I was watching that video where there was an apartment up for rent in Dublin, and 4,000 or 5,000 people applied for it. Like, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. So, all right, we're gonna let her cook. Here we go.
Not a week passes by, but we hear of an attack on a lady or a woman or a child, and it's not good enough. It's just not good enough. We've had so many now at this point. Like, how many more do we need to see happening? You know, we've had, as I say, cases reported on the Dunshaughlin case in Cork, and it's absolutely scandalous that here we are, 2026. We talk about equality, and we hear left-wing parties all of the time talk about equality for women, but yet they've nothing to say on the issue of violence against women.
Right, and they can't even report on it, right? They can't report. They can't say X person from Y country did a horrible thing, right? And you said there's also a delay in reporting, right? Like, something will happen, yay time, and then takes 3 or 4 months for the story to come up anywhere, right?
Sometimes it's reported straight away, and sometimes it takes months. There's no
rhyme or reason.
What I found is, if it's a normal Irish citizen, it's nearly on this. If it happens at 9 o'clock in the morning, it'll be on 6 o'clock news that night. If it's an Irish guy, and let's not beat around the bush. We all know what's going on. We're not blind. We're not silly. We all can see it. If it's somebody from not Ireland, I'm going to put it that way, you might get maybe a 30-second blurb in the 6 o'clock news, or it might be reported when it eventually goes to court.
But if an Irish citizen commits a crime, you'll know about it like 30 minutes after the crime's committed.
The only reason why we know the only reason we know about a lot of these crimes is down to people, independent media reporting across X or Facebook or so on. Right, the only reason we know about half of these crimes.
All right, tell you what, we're going to go ahead and pull up that Sun article that you sent me, and we'll go ahead and get that up. All right, we have the Sun video up. We have, is this RTE? Oh, yeah. Okay. So
Yes.
so it's from RTE, and then that's Gardaí, and that's the reporter. So
Yeah. So this is a show on RTE called Crime Call. So, all different crimes. I presume you have something similar in the States. Local crimes being reported by local police force, looking for assistance and so on.
we have something like it, but it's regional. It just depends on the city,
Yeah,
state,
region,
county
yeah.
that
So
you're in.
we have this basically in Ireland. Now, bear in mind, this is on the 26th of February.
Okay.
This particular. Now, this crime was committed on November last year, the 23rd of November last year.
Okay. So 23 November 25, a crime is committed. February 26, 2026 is when we're hearing about it from state-sponsored news, RTE.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what this Gardaí member has to say.
Of November in Cork City. And the man we're looking to identify is here in the centre of the screen wearing a green and black North Face jacket. As he walks past a group of people on Oliver Plunkett Street, he lifts his elbow and hits a woman in the head, knocking her unconscious. Now, he quickly made his way along Oliver Plunkett Street and away from the scene, and the victim was left with a broken orbital bone on her right eye socket.
So that is felony battery. Or at least that's
Yes.
that would be in the United States, right? So she's talking about not just violent crime like this, but violent crimes of a more intimate nature as well. So
Yes, but
it's not just. Go ahead.
Just bear in mind the way it's reported. North Face jacket. They don't mention one, his race. We can obviously see he's not Irish. We should actually just point that out. That should actually be pointed out straight away. He's North African. You can see it a mile away. We're not blind.
Okay.
It's just the way it's always reported. Like
Well,
a man wearing a North.
So
a man wearing.
I've done law enforcement, and race is a vital component of us being able to delineate who has committed something. That dude can take that jacket off, and then he's not the North Face jacket guy, right?
Yes.
He's a tanned-skinned fellow with a beard, possibly of X origin, which would allow you to say facial features from that place look like this, which is going to give me a better idea or concept of what the gentleman might look like, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's not Patty from the pub, right? It's not Patty from the pub.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's just the way a lot of these crimes are reported. Is they don't mention when they don't mention race, we automatically know in Ireland that it's somebody not from Ireland.
Right.
If you understand what I mean, we just know.
You shouldn't have to try and do those kind of histrionics.
But often in the United States, if, as you said, you've done law enforcement, if an African American commits a crime, you will say an African American or, a Latino or so on.
No, you're allowed to say these. You'd say black or Hispanic. Yeah.
Yes.
Or Asian.
But you know what I'm trying to say? It's just the way it's reported in Ireland.
Right.
It's
well, that's just the features of the human that did the thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's their identity. Physically, they look such a way.
Yes.
Right? Black, white, green, polka dot, whatever. That's how they look. Bald, red hair, purple hair, whatever it is. That's what they look like.
If you play on this video, you'll see exactly how the guard describes him.
All right, here we go.
Shocking moment of violence there, Greg. What more can you tell us about that man?
Yeah, he's believed to be in his late 20s to mid 30s and around 5'8" in height. He had a stocky build and dark hair and beard. And as I said, he was wearing that green and black North Face jacket. So that's all for myself for now, but we're asking the viewers to give us a call if they can help with any investigation they've seen so
far. Now, do you see the way he picture the dude, but they can't say, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Now, say if you're working in law enforcement, when you would have worked in law enforcement in the United States, as a member in law enforcement, how would you have described that individual?
Let's see. Black male, 5'8", 180, beard, wearing whatever they're wearing, in this case, a North Face jacket, green with a black trim on the top.
Yeah. You wouldn't have said a fellow 5'8", stocky build, North Face jacket, beard. That's it.
No. Well, you identify the race because folks look different, and you don't want to pull over the wrong person. You don't want to, right? Like, if you have a more specific identity or more specific identifying features, then you are not going to be harassing citizens, right? Citizens have rights. You can't, right? You match the description. You're 5'8" and stocky. Yeah, but I'm Korean in
Yes.
ancestry, so I'm obviously the wrong guy. So this is just going to generate all kinds of issues and problems. This is okay. Yeah, I can see some of the issue. So
now you can see what I'm talking about.
All right. We'll get back to Miss Nolan here. We'll get away from this video in the sun, and we will get back to Ms. Nolan and the Violence Against Women Coalition. All right, so we saw the reporting, and now we're going to get back to Ms. Nolan here. Here we go.
And about the fact that we have unvetted criminals coming into this country. So I want to see change in this country. I want to see women protected, and certainly I'll be there along with my colleagues leading the way.
So this is Counselor, no, it's not a counselor. She is, Counselor.
Barrister.
Oh, that's the barrister. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, she's the founder of the Women's Coalition for Immigration. Oh, got it. Okay.
If you're on pause for 2 seconds, you'll see her name.
Please do
I really
tell
want,
you that
there you go, see?
How do you say that name?
Louise.
No way. Is that Louise?
Go on. Yeah, go on, say it. What way do you pronounce that now? That's out of curiosity.
It'd be Leosa.
Actually, I know we're going completely off track here.
That's fine. That's what we do here.
Yeah.
So in the United States, Louise is spelled Louise. It's like the French style name Louis with an E on the end.
Yeah.
So, anywho.
Yes.
So she is the barrister and founder of the Women's Coalition on Immigration, which Ms. Nolan is in support of and speaking at, which is good. But the thing I wanted to bring up is that if you can't report things correctly, it's very difficult to put a cap on things. And she said that there isn't an appropriate vetting process. So you said that they're actually working on making a better vetting process there, and they're actually getting some more folks out of Ireland because we've gone over it before. So what is the new vetting process, and how are they getting them out more effectively?
The sad thing is they're supposed to be vetted, but there's only. You have to remember, our immigration service was never designed for this amount of influx. And I know in the last budget, our government has set aside millions to retrain new officers and do all this. All this will take time. But in the meantime, if we catch these criminals, why can't we just throw them out? In the meantime, if a guy has a letter, it's not hard to find.
So in the United States, for 8 USC 8 or 18, my brain, if you have a final deportation order, if you are anywhere other than in a sanctuary city or state, they'll hand you over to the Department of Homeland Security through ICE and get you deported, right? But we have a lot of constituencies in the United States that just don't do that. They just release them OR of their own recognizance on parole, pretty much regardless of crime, because the sanctuary places don't want those illegal immigrants to be kicked out of the country. So the thing is, they're already in violation of the law, right?
Yeah, big time. And what I can understand is it's not hard to find these guys. One, the only resource they have at their disposal is either they work, where they have to. Most guys don't really do cash in hand that much anymore, or most of them sign on to social welfare. So why not pick them up when they're collecting their dole? It's not that hard to find these guys. If they have to go collect their dole at a certain post office, just wait there with the immigration and pick them up. It's not hard to find.
So you're saying it's not rocket surgery. They could probably figure this one out. If Patrick McCallum can figure it out, some smart lawyer somewhere could probably figure it out. Some politician could be like, hey, the bad guys all go here. Let's go where the bad guys are and pick them up. Ooh.
I'm not saying they're good or bad guys. I'm just saying if you have a final order, why are they waiting around for weeks and months?
Well, if someone's got a final order, why are they still getting a check?
That blows my mind as well in some cases.
Right. So if you have a final order, then shouldn't you
be cut off the social?
Yeah, but
exactly. It should be cut off.
Okay.
And it just blows my mind in some cases. Like there's guys who are still waiting to be deported out of Ireland for well over 12 plus months while they're still signing on in Ireland.
Yeah, to get the
How does that make sense?
Wow.
How does that make sense?
Well, let's let Louise say what she's got to say, and then we'll move on down the road here.
The Women's Coalition on Immigration is now expanding, and we are now a cross-party group with Deputy Carol Nolan here today.
And that's Carol Nolan is the deputy.
Yeah,
What is she the
the lady
deputy
who-
of?
yeah.
Do you know what she's the deputy of?
Carl Nolan is a deputy of Independent Ireland.
Got it. Okay.
He will give
Independent
opening
Ireland.
remarks, as well as Councillor Linda de Courcy, who's been an incredible cogent voice fighting against City West as the largest migrant camp in Ireland. And we were
And
meant
that's
to be,
that's the TD from South Dublin, right?
Yeah, the county councillor from South Dublin. Yeah,
County council. Okay.
She's the well-spoken lady. You'll hear there now in a moment. She's really, really good.
All right.
Really good representative of Independent Ireland. But she's on about City West there, and I think everyone in Ireland knows what City West is. We're all used to it.
Well, how about for the larger American audience? What is it?
It's a massive immigration service, an immigration
Center?
holding area
Okay.
or hotel. It was a former hotel, City West Hotel, but now it's just an immigration dump. I'll be honest, is the only word I could describe.
Is that
it.
the one where the Ukrainian was killed? The Ukrainian kid, that 17-year-old kid was killed? Or is that a different facility?
No, that was a different. And this is where, remember when the young child was attacked?
Oh,
City
right.
West.
Okay, yeah, because we covered that and the 17-year-old Ukrainian kid.
And,
Okay.
like every now and again, we see videos come out of City West. We anyone living in Ireland, we know about City West. We know what it is. And every couple of days, there's a new video coming out of City West about some sort of violence around the City West centre, and none of it gets reported, which is unbelievable.
It sounds to me like there's some folks in City West that are failing to assimilate, and they just don't want to be part of Irish culture. That's what it feels like.
They don't. They don't. They don't. You can see them right.
All right. Yeah. Let's let this good barrister talk.
Sarah O'Reilly here today also, but unfortunately she's had a death in her family and couldn't attend. So it is my hope that we can build a real women's coalition that reflects civic society and elected representatives from Leinster House who share our concern. As you alluded to, we did put together a thematic report which was given to Minister Callan on the 1st of December. We've yet to hear back from his department. I believe our
you won't hear back.
goal.
Not going to hear back.
No, if you do, you'll get a generic letter. We received your report. Thank you for your feedback or whatever.
Oh, a little boilerplate for you there. A little boilerplate. Yeah, nice.
Let's forget about it. But yeah, you're not going to hear. If you do hear back, it's going to be an email. I already can tell you that.
So how big does their voice going to have to get? How big is their voice going to have to get for them to get some traction? Because obviously it's happening. There's a coalition. There are TDs, there are council members that are like, hey, this is bad.
Look, we have a lot of the main parties are on the immigration train. We have Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, and Sinn Féin. And all three of them are just on the immigration train. Everything's rosy in the garden. There's no problems. We're all just one big happy family. And it's especially when two of those parties that I just mentioned call themselves Republican parties.
Oh, that sounds like bollocks. I learned your word.
Yes.
That's bollocks, mate.
And Sinn Féin, by the way, should really look at themselves as well, especially when their leader, Mary Lou, was going around wearing a hijab and so on. It's
right. Well, and there was actually that by-election in the UK where a ton of the commercials on the television and other places were not done in English.
Yes.
I believe they were done in Urdu or something. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But what I'm saying is I understand Sinn Féin are just thinking about the next election. They don't really care what's going to happen to us. We're used to Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil selling us down the river. We've had a century of them just getting the saddle on our backs, as they would say in Ireland. But Sinn Féin would surprise me because they call themselves a Republican Party. I'm old enough to remember when a lot of old heads in Sinn Féin would not tolerate what's going on right now. But the fact that how quickly they bent the knee because they see the demographic shift, it's crazy.
It's not acceptable. Not acceptable.
No.
All right, here we go.
And our objectives are fairly conservative. All we want is for the data on criminal statistics in Ireland to be disaggregated on the basis of ethnicity and country of origin. Because unless we know exactly what's happening in this country, we are basing policy really on fantasy or on wishful thinking.
That's true. It's absolutely. If you don't know where the origin of the crimes are coming from, right? Like, you're not going to know. A lot of the prisons in the UK, for instance, have a ton of Albanians. A ton of Albanians.
Yes. And the only reason that came out was because somebody asked for that report. This lady in December sent a letter in requesting a report on the breakdown of criminal statistics in Ireland.
Well, then they're just going to say they don't check ethnicity. I'm like, how could you not? How could you not? You can't incarcerate them appropriately if you don't.
It's not that hard. Look, I know the justice system has those statistics on hand. I can guarantee they have that.
They have to.
They have to. By law, they have to figure out who this guy is, where he's from,
what his immigration status is,
and so on. They have all these statistics.
Yeah.
And the only reason they would not release something like that is one, they either are totally incompetent, they don't have a clue what's going on, which I doubt very much, or it just looks bad. And I'm going with the second one because it just looks bad for them if they release it. Sooner or later, under freedom of information, they'll have to release it.
But you can't keep your citizens safe if you don't do that. All right, let's let her get back to it.
This week in Ireland, we saw 2 crimes which are, I would say, highly unusual in this country, almost unheard of. The first one was the Gardaí released CCTV, crystal clear CCTV, I would say, of a unprovoked attack on a street in Cork just before the busy Christmas period. For some reason, that CCTV was not released for 3 months. But what it shows is a man who seems to be from the MENAP region. The MENAP region features quite heavily in our research. This is a part of the world, including the Middle East, North Africa, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Turkey, whereby sexual offending and criminal offending against women, men from that region are overrepresented. To give you an example of that, an Afghan man is 70 times more likely to be involved in gang rape than a German man.
70 times, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot. Like, statistically, that is, but the thing is, as we're saying, it's not an aberration, right? It's not out of the ordinary for men from that region to commit these kinds of acts, right?
No.
So to keep your citizens safe, you should probably know who's coming to your country from there. If they're 70 times more likely to do something that is in violation of your citizens' rights and their person, right? But you
have to remember, all this lady is looking for is a straight, honest report from our Department of Justice.
From the government. Breakdown. She wants the government to be honest with her. Oh, that should go well.
Yes.
That'll go well. Yeah.
I can guarantee you, she'll literally have to go into court with a freedom of information request before the Department of Justice will release those figures. I nearly guarantee she'll have to. Which she can, she's a barrister, but it shouldn't be that way.
No, it should be, the government should be like, this is great information for you to have because it keeps people safe. Let's keep Irish people safe. But
we know that most people from those regions she just mentioned, we know their opinion of women quite well. We're not blind. We see the news all over the world. We see how they treat women in their countries. Now we're importing this into our own countries.
Right. So I don't want the place you come from to turn into the place I am. Like, I don't want that. Like, don't bring whatever you have that's bad there here. Right? Yeah. Don't do that. Assimilate into my culture. And if you don't want to, then don't come here.
Leave.
Just get out. The problem is when you give them bread and circuses and, all the candy and all the things they could want, to include housing and cell phones and dental and medical care. And like, you're like, here's all the candy. Come get all the candy from us because we're nice. Yeah. And then they just burn everything to the ground.
Yes. And time again, we see it. That every time they come into a country, there's always trouble. And it's not been racist. It's not been racist when you point out the fact that they're 70 times more likely to commit that crime than another person. That's not being racist. They're straight honest.
Functionally, what she's saying is people from a Western culture are 70 times less likely to commit the crime that the people from the other region will commit. So
exactly,
we're going to let her cook a little bit.
So in terms of what happened in Cork and also in Dunshaughlin, a few days apart in terms of the CCTV being released, this is a crime that we wouldn't have seen in Ireland before. I have seen footage myself of similar crimes happening in the streets of London and New York. what's quite chilling about them is that man waited until the last minute to elbow that girl to the floor. So she couldn't read the situation. Her instincts weren't there to protect her because he acted like a normal passerby until he elbowed her in the face, knocking her out cold. And then in Shockland, we had really something that you only would have heard about, say, in the townships of Soweto, where a man in the middle of the day openly breaks into a house and allegedly drags a 16-year-old girl who was there in the house upstairs, barricades himself into the bathroom and says he's going to rape her, allegedly. Now, these facts haven't been tested in court yet, but he has been charged with burglary, which is surprising. So,
And Shockland, okay, I did spell that horribly incorrectly.
Yes,
Okay.
I was trying to.
Yeah, you were trying to help me with that, and I failed. So, but consider this crime. This is a heinous crime, right?
Yes. Now,
And
bear in mind, allegedly.
Allegedly.
We have to be very careful when you report. As I said, like I said, we have to be very careful.
A crime about a crime like this or something like this is heinous in nature, right? And the thing is, the Gardaí has the information. They could either confirm or deny it. You'd say yes.
Yeah. But it's only. I understand the Gardaí can only release certain information and so on, but this is a symptom of a larger issue that either we nip in the bud right now, or we're going to have day in and day out headlines like this going forward.
Yeah,
people have to realize that.
That's horrible. All right, here we go.
You know, anecdotally, we are seeing a new type of violence meted out against women and girls, and there is a perception that's very palpable of an extra risk to women and girls.
She said anecdotally there. It's not anecdotally if you can get the information, but it doesn't look like anybody wants to give the information to the public.
That's the problem. Like, she shouldn't have to go ahead and request our government.
Yeah, she shouldn't have to pull out a pry bar to get the information. She should say, hey, government agency that has the information, for the good of the people, you should do the thing. And they're like, nah, we're not going to do it.
Like, she put this in the 1st of December. So it's December, January, February. Now we're nearly halfway through March. It's what I'm trying to say is, every other freedom of information request is usually processed about a week or two at most.
Right.
No matter where you go. As you could, the most of it, they have this information on hand. The Department of Justice has this information. We all know they have this information. We're not blind. We can see the headlines. We can see who is going into court being charged with certain crimes. And guess what? Most of those names are not native Irish. We're not blind. You know.
Okay. You're gonna see a McCallum on the list or an O'Shaughnessy? No, none of those.
We know. You know what I'm trying to.
Right.
Yeah. We know. And when they turn around and say, "Oh, he's been living in Ireland for a certain amount of years," and you're still going, "Yes, but he's still being charged with horrendous crime."
Right. He didn't assimilate. He decided whatever cultural path was his past is what he's going to bring forward. Horrible.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
And, you know, it is common sense, after all, if you do house a huge number of men without a purpose, without a job, far from home, in any residential area, that will present a heightened risk to women and children. And certainly, you know, if those men are from cultures that are incompatible with Irish culture, that is an added risk. And I don't think it's racist to say that.
She's right. It's not racist at all.
No, it's not.
It's statistics. The numbers dictate exactly this thing is happening, so we need to stop it for the protection of the people. Here we go.
Yeah.
After all, if you were on holiday in Morocco for the weekend, would you let your 16-year-old daughter walk around the souk on her own? And if you wouldn't do that, why wouldn't you do that?
I'm here obviously representing Independent Ireland. Our policies are very clear. We obviously want IPAS centres to be subject to planning permission. So if people don't have don't object to an IPAS centre, then that's fine. But if people do object, then
that's the problem with IPAS centres at the moment.
There's no veto right of the people who reside there to say we don't want middle-aged men milling around our town at 11 a.m.
So normally, if you're building an accommodation centre, if I wanted to build an accommodation centre, not an IPAS centre, but a normal accommodation centre for students, for instance, just think that I would have to go through the HSC planning permission, all the bells and whistles, but not when it comes to IPAS centres. They can bypass all those checks and balances straight away. And everyone knows that. And the only reason some people figure out that an IPAS centre is being opened up, they suddenly see a derelict building being done up, and one of the workers there might let it slip, oh, this is going to be an IPAS centre. So people find out secondhand, not actually from their local politicians, but by secondhand
why isn't
information.
the county or the city council, why aren't they informed? Because you're...
Because I passed the city council planning permission.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nobody knows until the building is up and running and you have middle-aged males, or excuse me,
So-
military-aged males milling around your town. You just don't know.
Yes.
Right, we did an episode on that. Yeah, look that up. So here we go.
Shouldn't be going ahead and it shouldn't be put up in locations. Also, we believe they should be not-for-profit, not people making literally billions and billions off them, as your Matt Tracy and Nick Delahanty are great at revealing that information.
Just like we said before, right? They're making money off it, and a lot, and they're forcing the constituents of Ireland to pay the tax to get that done.
And I will say, if you go onto Gripped Media, there's a series of great videos and articles about the amount of money some people are making out of IPAS centres.
Right. And we will definitely put that link. We'll definitely put that link in the description of the video.
What I'll do is I'll put a link to Gripped Media in general, and people, there's some fantastic articles, I think, not just on the IPAS centres, but all across their websites and channel is absolutely fantastic. So I'll put a link for all that down below.
And we are not sponsored by them, heads up. They're
Oh,
just
no,
real
no,
good at it.
whatsoever. As I said, I've been a fan of Gripped Media for a while, so I think their reporting is very, very well done. I have to say that much about them. They're very well done. Very,
Right.
very, very good.
Patrick McCallum in support of Gripped Media. Here we go.
But also, so one of the things that came to light earlier in this year is, and you possibly saw it on social media, that there was a letter that was seen, an IPAS guy who'd been living in the Ballyogan IPAS Centre, and he basically had threatened via email multiple times to kill a female member of staff. Now, why there's women working in all-male IPAS centres, I don't know. That's a whole other thing. But basically, he wasn't told he should be, present himself at a Garda station. He wasn't told he should present himself at the airport to leave the country. He was told he should present himself at Dalkin House, which is an IPAS centre in Clondalkin. So a man who threatened to kill a woman multiple times was actually sent from one IPAS centre to another IPAS centre. Now, I contacted the community engagement team, got a ridiculous answer, like they were concerned about his anonymity, and I'm like, I really don't care what his name.
Right, and anonymously send him to another country then. Boot his ass out.
Yeah.
Don't send him to
she's
another
right.
IPAS center. Like, what are you doing?
He threatened to kill a member of staff in an IPAS centre. So their answer was, we'll move him to a different centre.
While keeping him anonymous, of course. Of course.
Oh yeah, protect his anonymity. Who cares? Just put him on a plane.
Yeah, if
It's
you
not hard.
don't have the appropriate social ability to not violate those social mores, you got to go. You're not assimilating. You're failing.
Yeah, if this guy already, before he even gets whatever a pass to stay in Ireland, is already threatened to kill people, maybe he's a citizen we do not want in Ireland.
Yeah.
Just
That might be a
spitballing idea.
bad fit. That might be a bad fit. All right, let's let her finish.
Name is, I don't care who he is, I care about what he's done. And then we sent a PQ in via Deputy Ken O'Flynn to the Department of Justice, and Jim O'Callaghan basically came back saying, well, we're just concerned about the safety and security of the residents of the IPAS centres. I'm like, what about the residents of Clondalkin and the residents of Ballyogan? And also, we don't know how often has this been happening. This is absolutely appalling. These are men who are threatening to kill women. And whether you're threatening to kill a woman or a man, stab a man, like whatever you're threatening to do, you have no right to be in this country walking around free, like, doing whatever you want to do. It's absolutely appalling. So I'm here obviously because we want the data released on the nationality of criminals and sexual offenders, but also to highlight this. This is beyond the pale. It is totally unacceptable.
I'm here to speak about how this is affecting the people in Sagard, how it's affecting the youth of Sagard, how it is affecting the older community of Sagard, and also the disappointment that we have towards the government, especially with this vote last week, that there's not going to be an assessment regarding putting any IPAS centres into any villages that basically the people have.
So they just have to eat it. It's just like you were saying. They don't have a choice. We're just going to put IPAS centers wherever we want.
Yeah, we'll just suck it up. That's it. We're going doing this.
So the will of the people is get fucked. That's the will of the people.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, get wrecked, son. We're going to do what we want to do, and you have to eat it. Oh, that's so bad.
Yeah.
Like, try and eat English food. Oh, here we go.
Have nothing. They have no say. So it's a slap in the face towards us in Sagard, especially when we've had the community engagement team out several times, and it's just like it's a farce. Why did they even come to meet us? Why did they even, you know, try to engage with us when basically the government is against it?
And Tanya, you have a Swedish background. Would you talk about that and the experience of Sweden and how it relates to Ireland?
I was born and raised in Sweden, so basically I lived 25 years in Sweden, and I moved in 2000 over to Ireland. So I've lived more years in Ireland now. I consider myself Irish, but I still have the Swedish upbringing, and I also...
Right, but she appropriately assimilated to the culture. She came from a Western-style country, and she's like, I like Ireland, I'll do that, right? And became an Irish citizen and did all the things she was supposed to do in the order she was supposed to do them, and loves her country now, right? Like, she's on board. She's doing her thing, but you have people from other countries that are not on board in any way.
Yes.
Crazy. All right.
Oh, I've seen what happened in Sweden during those 25 years that I lived there. I've seen this before in Sweden, and I've seen areas in Sweden, especially outside Stockholm, certain suburbs that where you don't integrate people properly, those areas end up being foreign, completely foreign, and people, certain areas outside Stockholm, certain suburbs, the police will not even go in without military backing them up. So
right, exactly as you said before, no-go zones with very, very bad elements that you can't go into extract, right? And they end up with things like Sharia law and other kinds of crazy...
well, I won't say yes, but Sharia law practice among themselves, not on legal standing in Sweden. But what I'm trying to say is, well, this is the path we're going down in Ireland if we're not careful.
Right. Well,
if
your politicians are selling you down the river right now. Yeah. We just want information that says these are the people doing the thing. We need to keep an eye on that, right?
Yes.
To keep our Irish citizens safe. So I'll let Ms. Saggart finish her a little bit here.
I've seen it. I don't want to see it again. And it's like deja vu to me. And I don't understand why the Irish government can't look at this, because there's so many other things that they look at towards Sweden, where Sweden have done right. Why can't they look at where Sweden has done wrong and take example of that and not do the same?
Yeah, take a page out of their book. Learn from other people's mistakes on how to fix things.
Like if we did a piece on Denmark, why not just adopt the Denmark model? That seems to work.
That was episode 71. Look it up.
Yeah,
it's really good, actually. It's one of our better ones.
Yeah, why don't we just do the Denmark model? Let's learn by Sweden's let's learn, as she's saying, let's learn by Sweden's mistakes. I know it's a horrible thing to say about another country, but let's learn by their mistakes.
Right. Well, that's a really good way to learn. Here are the consequences for doing things this way. Oh, maybe, hey, Ireland, don't do it that way. For the good of the people. For the good of the people. So, all right, Patrick, got anything else for the good of the people?
As I said, I know this one has been a bit of a heavier episode, and I wish I had more cheerful news from Ireland. We do have cheerful news, but it just seems to be more and more depressing headlines, and it seems to be more and more. We seem to be so scared in my country of being called the racist or right wing or whatever else, and it shouldn't be that way. When you can turn around and say we're actually proud of our country.
I do have some great news. When this video publishes, it'll be 6 days to St. Patrick's Day, sir. And the entire world will be Irish for 24 hours. It'll be great.
That's true. That is true. That is true.
All right. For Patrick McCallum, I am Alex Johansson. Like, ring the bell, subscribe, and help us beat the algorithm. We're the A&P Gents, and we are out.